My name is Eliza Doyle, and I am a singer, songwriter, teacher, session musician, and recording artist in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I was first introduced to the banjo in university in Saskatoon. My dad is a musician, and his buddies found an old banjo in a barn, and they took it down and they shined it all up, and they were trying to figure out who to give it to, and someone said, "Ed, why don't you give it to your daughter?" So he called me up one day. He's like, "Hey, do you want a banjo?" And I was like, sure. So I got it and just started performing on the street, and people started giving me money. And I thought, oh, well, that's a good way to kind of put myself through university. And then I ran into two girls playing music, and we started the Cracker Cats. And they, I was shown the ropes by a lot of other people in Saskatoon, and it just it wasn't anything I'd ever thought about, and it just kind of took its own course. Where I see my music going, I'm actually currently looking into getting a manager and a booking agent. I've been doing everything myself, like managing, booking, doing all of this stuff. And I kind of feel like now more than ever, if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to try to give it a go, then now's the time. So I'm going to be releasing a new album here in the spring of 2022. And I'm just going to reach out to a few different places and see. But I'm really comfortable with what I'm doing right now, which is running a nonprofit I just started, doing music mentorship programming in remote communities in Saskatchewan. So I'm really trying to help elevate the people in our province to have access to all the different grants and all the different things that they might not know exist here in Saskatchewan. That's kind of my main drive. Performing my own music and seeing how that goes is kind of secondary, but I'm trying to balance it a little bit more these days. So what drew me to this style of music I'm playing, bluegrass kind of folk genre? I would say somebody just giving me a banjo. I'd never really thought about what kind of style I wanted to play. I never even thought about being a musician. And then when a banjo came into my hands, like my parents are both bluegrass musicians. So I guess I just started replicating what I had heard growing up, and then definitely running into Camilla Martel and Melissa Nygren of the Cracker Cats. They kind of had their own scene going, and the banjo fit perfectly. So then that just kind of skyrocketed me into that kind of style, I guess.
I don't know
song Free Man was written during a trauma and cultural sensitivity training course we were delivering. So I started the nonprofit. I started working in underserved, remote, vulnerable communities. So when you're working in those kind of communities, there's a lot of different things that can come up for the artist. So we were encountering people disclosing emotions, people disclosing maybe suicidal ideologies or abuse, that kind of thing. And we realized that before we send artists into these communities, they should be trained, they should be trauma-informed, they should be culturally sensitive. So we designed, like the nonprofit, myself and Holly Zechipi, designed a training course for artists to take so they can be a little bit more educated before they go into communities. And so at the end of this online course, we kind of had a challenge for the artists to come up with something to show their understanding of the course or display what they've learned. And this song just kind of came out of it. It was one of the fastest songs I've ever written and one of the more meaningful ones that I've written in my life. So I'm really, really happy about it. What inspires my music? What inspires my type of songwriting? It used to be that I was a reactive songwriter or a reactive musician. So I would be going through a breakup. I would write a song about that. I would be really happy. I would write a song about that. And now, especially with this new album I'm working on, I want to be more intentional about it. I feel like your first couple of albums come easy as a musician. Everything's kind of new and fresh and coming at you. You use different phrases, you have your chord structures down, and then when you come to your, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth album, you have to think of something new. You feel like you've said everything already. That comes natural. So I'm definitely a lot more intentional now. And really with the work I'm doing in remote and underserved communities in Saskatchewan, really trying to work with people who maybe haven't had their voices heard. I'm trying to get more inspiration from the people around me and also think about how I can help elevate those voices through my music. So that's what's inspiring me presently. My songwriting process is very different every single time. So I'll hear a phrase throughout the day, or I'll kind of hear a melody in my head and I'll get my phone out and try to do a quick voice memo. And, I have journals kind of with different phrases and lyrics written in it. I'm really trying to switch it up a little bit more these days and be more collaborative, get out of my comfort zone. So we started working with a fiddle player and a drummer. I'm just trying to experiment and see where it takes me. Community plays the biggest role in my music. It's basically the only reason I exist as a musician. When I started playing music on the street, I had no idea what to expect. I was just basically practicing the banjo all day outside, and people would stop and listen. And then I met a fellow who plays guitar and busks, and he's like, "Hey, come on out and you should play music with me on the street." And so if it wasn't for people encouraging me or giving me money, or the band of gals that welcomed me into their community space, I wouldn't exist, right? So everybody around me has created me into the person I am. Playing, I think I've been performing and playing now in Saskatchewan for like 18 years. So if community didn't support me or, didn't come to my shows, I wouldn't be here. And now with the nonprofit in music and seeing how it strengthens communities, how music brings everybody together, how it changes a child who can be proud of writing a song and performing it or seeing themselves on the other side of the screen. It's just, music is so powerful. So it's definitely the biggest part of my entire life.
Said you're doing fine most of the time, but anyone can see you're a liar. I see a shell of a man where you now stand, and I didn't think it'd end this way. Pass that the day turns to night. We'll sing it till the day turns to night. Come on back to me, I beg and I plead, but I see it ain't doing no good. Your 9-pound hammer, it ain't gonna matter when it's all you got left to your name. Pass that bottle down, we'll do another round. Sing it till the day turns to night. We'll sing it till the day turns to night. It's not up to you to tell me what to do. That's not the way the story goes. Just take who's next in line. It happens all the time, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Pass that bottle down, we'll do another round. Sing it till the day turns to night. We'll sing it till the day turns to night. Pass that bottle down, we'll do another round. Sing until the day turns to night. We'll sing until the day turns to night.
The song Another Round has been with me probably for about 4 years. I haven't really done much with it because it was kind of at a standstill. I only had 2 verses and I wasn't really sure what to do about it. But I just kept singing like, pass that bottle down, we'll do another round. Sing, it just kind of kept on going. And, really this shoot was a big push to get it ready because I knew I wanted to put out new material for this. And, I just said to the band, I was like, hey, we're doing 2 new songs. And this is just, I actually just wrote the 3rd verse yesterday. So it just kind of, it's about coming together, singing together, but also realizing, some people in your life are here and then they're gone, and that's okay, So instead of just being upset or heartbroken about things, you can actually celebrate the lessons they've taught you, and that's that. Because I've been playing music around Saskatchewan for so long in different festivals in such a variety of different bands. I mean, starting out in 2003 was the first band I was in. So, I'll be at a festival and hearing people come up to me and say, I heard you play this song. You're the reason I play the banjo. You don't really think of your music impacting people in that way. Like, people listen to your songs, but you don't really think of yourself impacting people beyond the present moment. So yeah, and a lot of young girls actually coming up and saying how much just seeing me up on stage has given them the confidence to play music. I don't know. You never really think of yourself as a role model, but you can't see the effect you have on people. So it's really powerful when people do come up and share the stories. And a lot of times people are shy. And it's actually made me want to be more honest with the people around me, or musicians or people that have positively impacted my life. Because they don't know. Unless you tell them, they have no idea. So tell people how you feel about them. Somebody gave me the best advice I've ever heard in music, and it really helped bring everything into perspective. Sometimes you're in a band, things don't really work out, you're really not sure why, or something feels a little off. And so when you're in a band, when you're playing music, there's 3 things that you have that need to be present for you to stay. And all you need is 2 out of the 3 to make it work. If you have 3 out of the 3, the band will stay together forever, probably. So 1, you have to be around people who get your jam. You have to be around people that make you feel good. You have to love and respect them and be on the same vibe. 2, you have to love the music. So you have to be like, this music makes my heart sing and my soul, my spirit fly. 3, the money has to be good. So if you have 2 out of those 3, you'll be fine. Like, let's say you're playing in a band, you love the tunes, you love the people, but the money's not very good. You'll be fine because the music is inspiring you and the people inspire you. It doesn't really matter about the music or the money, I mean. But if you're in a band, the money's not very good and you don't really like the music, but you love the people, it'll probably falter out. So when I heard this, it really it just really made me realize and look back on my previous music projects and why some of them, were kind of failing. So if you have 2 out of those 3 things, I think you'll be great.